Hello everybody, this is ZigZagZog coming to you from Western Kentucky, and we are continuing our playthrough of Total War 3 Kingdoms, playing as Sun Jian. And kind of a recap, because it's been a few days since I've kind of been in here to play an episode. I want to kind of look around myself to recap. We definitely have, I recall from last time, armies that are all fully staffed. But in seeing some of the forces we've been up against, it seems like we are in need of some potential upgrades to our units. So with that in mind, coming up going forward, we're going to be probably looking at some reforms with that in mind. Probably the two quickest ways we can get some upgrades that might impact us as soon as possible unit-wise is this track right here, the Everlevel granaries and the agricultural garrisons, both which will unlock medium and then heavy halberds or G militia. I do need to build to unlock this, the grain, get up to the grain silo, so that'll be something I'll be looking to build perhaps. It does help our satisfaction levels, I believe, those silo buildings. So we'll look at building that hopefully in some commandery or some province that has lower level satisfaction levels. The other thing I'd like to get down here to be able to build is this over here, the Azure Dragons. I would love to be able to get to that, and that's just a couple builds away down here through sharecropping and then up to feudal magnets. None of which require any unlocking buildings. So we have one building to unlock here, and then no more after that. So that shouldn't be too difficult to go. We got 2 more turns while we complete our current reform, and then we can move on to those reforms, which are probably the quickest way to start upgrading some of my forces. We have Sun Ce up here in the north, along with Sun Jian, kind of looking out at the border in the north, because we have Yuan Shao, I believe we are at war with. We have Kong Rong, who we are at war with, kind of on our northern borders. Yuan Shao does have a unit over here, kind of hanging out, not an immediate threat, but we'll kind of see. Maybe he's just going to his trade port over here to kind of reinforce that. But we shall see. And then down here we also have Cheng Pu, who used to be our main administrator guy, who has his own army at the moment. He's right on the border with Jian down below here. We aren't at war with them yet. They don't have any, they are not a vassal of anybody. They don't have any treaties with anybody. So I'm looking, as it's autumn, I moved up to the border. We'll probably wait out the winter, because the city we need to go against down here is I believe a walled city. It's a small city, so we will need to siege with his forces, because we don't have any trebuchets to just blast through the walls. We'll want to kind of get a sapper working out there, so that's probably going to wait till the spring. But over here in the east, we do have a battle that we're going to just move ahead on to start. This episode, the Guangling farmland. We got our forces moved in place against Zerong, and Zerong himself is in there. So that's probably where we're going to start this episode. Anything else I've been looking at? The only other thing I noticed is we do have a trade route open. Problem is, the only trade person we have availability to trade with is way over here, and guess what? Jian, we are about to attack you in a couple seasons, so I decided to just not go ahead with that trade route, and we'll just see if something else opens up in the future to allow us another trade opportunity to increase our income, because by getting all the armies at full force, our income per turn is lower than it has been in a while. So let's start and get Sun Quan. Both of these, Sun Quan and Sun Ren, are not our most battle-tested armies, so hopefully they're going to gain some experience here. With that in mind, not having the highest level or on both generals, Sun Ren is still a weak little thing, and we want to be careful with her. We do have Zhang Fang, who has a little extra ability and strength to him, but he's not by any means an expert with his background. And then over here we do have Qi Shangping available, who has some decent numbers, and we have Sun Quan over here, who doesn't necessarily, he's also not very strong yet at level 3, so we're going to have to be careful with all these, and it's not like they have the best dueling abilities either. So yeah, and that's more of an active buff for the forces around her, so we probably won't be doing a lot of dueling, although I'll probably take dueling off everybody but Zhang Fang and see if we have the ability to do any dueling if Zerong is open to it. He may not himself be open to any dueling, but he, compared to us, is level 4. He does have some buffs available. The final, that's charge speed mostly. Mighty knockback, so he has some abilities we'll have to be careful of, but hopefully my one champion would be up to that battle. We'll see. But that's what I'm thinking. Let's get into it. We're going to have a tight little battlefield with a lot of different forces involved here. So let's see what kind of victory. I think it was a victory last time I looked. Yeah, it's only a close victory. We do have superior numbers once everybody shows up on the battlefield. So it may be one of those situations where I have to wait for my reinforcements. We'll see. We'll see how we want to set up and work this. Let's get in there. We'll join back in on this comment. It just made me chuckle. Zerong, I am ready whenever you are done pontificating. So, yeah, there's always that chatter at the beginning, and that comment just cracked me up. Usually I bypass it all anymore. I used to listen to it early on in these playthroughs, but now I just tend to just edit right through it. Let's see, I think what we'll do is well, we can set up opposite and just come in on both ends, or perhaps we just stay where we are. I do have trebuchets available to go against any gates and then work on any infantry that we can reach from there, so maybe we'll just start up at this gate. How about that? We'll get them right up front and ready to start bombing away. That gets pretty good reach inside. So we can get good reach with our trebuchets to any forces. Hopefully they got them all stacked up at the gate. I'm seeing my forces out here, which would definitely help make easy targets. After that, we definitely have, and do we have flaming arrows? We also, if for some reason trebuchets fail us, we have flaming arrows available on our archers, and we also have some hitting strength a little bit with our crossbowmen to move up. So let's get our archers over on one side of the trebuchet, because they're going to be moving forward first as we're waiting for our reinforcements. We'll probably hold off on bringing in, I'm thinking, a lot of the melee troops until our reinforcements are in place over here. That's what I'm thinking, because without them we're outnumbered, so we might as well wait for our strength and force. And then the cavalry, why don't we just park them off to try and lock up some troops on another gate over here. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, to kind of hold off forces. A couple of them are hidden, but well, maybe we can put them right here and they'll all be visible. Yeah, they're all visible. We want them to know I'm there, so they put some defenses over here and maybe spread themselves out, because this is a tight little compact area that we're going to be going into. So any way we can spread them out is going to be helpful. Sun Quan, we don't want to deal with you. You're just not strong enough yet. I think the same over here. What's this? Confident? What's this broken heart thing? I don't know what that icon means down here. If anybody does, shoot me a message. I'm not sure what that broken heart, does that mean you've been injured before or something? I don't see anything up here, but you got that broken heart down here, whatever that icon means with the slash through the heart. And we're going to not duel you either. And our melee troops, we're going to have the axemen and swordsmen probably lead the way. I usually general way, unless of course there's for some reason some kind of cavalry up front. So we'll have those forces attacking, and we'll have the halberds following up, so we'll just group those guys separately. In fact, we can even group up the cavalry on the backside when we see an opening to bring them in. So let's start the battle. We'll be moving off and just trying to knock out the towers, nice and simple to start it off that way. Let's see, we can make a decision once we knock these towers out if it's better, depending on how they've set up, to try and move over to knock out the other towers where our reinforcements are coming, or to just bombard enemy forces inside. Just depends on how tightly packed they are. So let's get ready to start and get this battle on the way. And they are clustered up, aren't they, guys? They are clustered up with not a lot in the back where the reinforcements will be showing up. So we have options. We have options. Let's get over here. We are going to keep you out of dueling, Sun Ren. We figured that out. We are not going to keep you out of dueling. And Sun Ren, let's take your cavalry forces. And how can we get them? Let's get them over to this other tower over here, heading in that direction. Because they're pulling back from there, and we may be able to do some flanking action on that side too eventually. And once they see all the reinforcements over here, I'm guessing they're going to shift their strategies, or their forces within. Okay, let's get set up over here as quickly as possible. How far is the reach? Okay, right here. Let's get set up right outside the reach of those towers as quickly as possible. We got them running, we got everybody running, and let's get back and see how we're doing on those towers. We have them knocked out, so we are going against the troops on the inside. Let's kind of concentrate on the melee troops. They're the one in this tight battlefield that are going to hold us up the most. Kind of use up our trebuchet that way. As long as they're going to stay clustered kind of in there and tightly packed, we're going to go against them. And then we'll kind of hang in there and wait for our troops to get in position elsewhere. Are we doing the damage I hope in here? I hope. We got one spear unit already kind of weakened. Working on the halberds in the back. We got a nice hit there. Get our reinforcements called up, and then we'll find out if we're going to be able to do any kind of a duel. Of course, their leader's way on the other side of the map the last time I looked over there. But they are reinforcing the gate that will be coming in over there. But we got the open gate over here. They are ignoring this gate, so that may give me some chances against archers, which tend to be in the back here. It looks like our trebuchets are almost out of ammo. Hopefully we've done enough damage, weakening them up. Okay, and now the trebuchets are running out of ammunition, so let's start the next phase. Our troops are about in position over here. They're about in position over here. Let's start moving in the archers now. See if we can't further weaken their forces. And we have our crossbowmen who don't quite have the range. And let's get over here and see if we got some hitting power over here. We don't have flaming arrows available, but we're just going to start coming in against these clustered up forces here. See what kind of damage we can do. See if we can open up the gate area so we can advance with our melee troops. And he did decide to make it a little more difficult over here. Let's see if he changes his mind down the road. We won't have a quick way to get in our cavalry. Same over here. He's still holding over on this side. Now we got to see if we can do some damage with our own archers. In fact, as long as he's going to give me the opening, let's get in here with our forces. Start closing in with melee. I've already got his melee over here breaking away.
Ha! 敌军士兵正在溃逃。
We'll bring you forward with the general. See if we can't take over the towers here to stop the attrition. Do we have anybody with some kind of buff for the troops over here we can bring forward? Yes, we do. We'll bring forward.
我军士兵丢盔弃甲，真懦夫也！
Put the halberds against that cavalry before they can reach our archers, hopefully. We got over here. How are we breaking through over here? They're about to bring reinforcements in against us. It's about time we start firing to try and weaken them up. Get our melee over here against their archers. Let's get the general over here against their archers to try and stop the arrows coming into our rear. Come on, halberds, move to the front. Let's take them out. Okay, we got those halberds just standing over there. We'll keep our general over here against these archers. Our forces seem to be breaking through over here. Let's bring them forward. He's still holding out against our cavalries over here. Now he's pulling back from the gates, so we can think about bringing in our cavalry over here, taking those gates, and we need some halberds in here fast. Along with you, Sun Ren, let's keep you up close. Now is where it gets ugly, as we have full force halberds up here holding the line against us. We need some G militia support over here, and we need some G militia support down this way. We somehow got to get our crossbowmen taking some shots where we need it, and let's see if we can bring this cavalry in now on the backside to help us out. We'll work the cavalry against the general there. Looks like we're starting to get out of ammunition a little bit with some of our forces. Get them out of the melee as much as we can. We got their leader on the run, which is good. We'll go after him instead of these spear guys over here. Keep melee on melee over here. Get the archers out of the melee as much as possible. I'm in the back of those spearmen now. I gotta get everybody else get up here. We need some more melee help right here. How are we doing melee wise over here? Kind of been bottled up. We got this general upset. And we got some more melee that we failed to bring into the fight to help give us an advantage. And let's start tying up some of these archers in the back. Okay, the spearmen are tied up a little. Can we get help from our cavalry now that they're in melee? Can they hold out long enough? Of course, our cavalry is running right into the G militia. Quit chasing after the retreating guys. Let's get you guys in here to help out.
我军士兵丢盔弃甲，真懦夫也！
It's a tough battle when you got these corridors to block you off, and now they've turned around these spearmen, so I don't know that I have the forces I need. These cavalry need to reverse and get out of there with those spearmen before they get chewed up to pieces. We have some arrows left with which to put in their backside. I don't know. Nobody to duel. Let's get your hamstring going. Get our cavalry out of there. They're not great in the melee right now. We don't want, it's not what we ideally want them.
我军士兵丢盔弃甲，真懦夫也！时机已至，加快脚步。骑兵准备。
Got cavalry tied up way too much. So we got some units back here. Are they able to come in on the rear here? That would definitely help this melee part of the battle. Get in there with them hamstring. We finally break through over here. Very good, very good. Czech cavalry made it into the rear. Now let's get melee cavalry or melee forces onto their backside. It looks like they're folding very rapidly now. Question is, did we at least get a close victory? It's always hard to tell on these tight maps. Ah, Pyrrhic victory. Would have been better to auto-resolve, but come on. These are the fun kind of battles to try and prove your worth. I did two where I out-achieved in my other Sima campaign just recently, and I got the big payback slap in the face on this one, just a Pyrrhic victory. Tight maneuverability, I just wasn't able to maneuver my forces enough to take advantage of what we had. So let's get out of this victory. I'll take a victory, don't underestimate that, but I lost way too many forces because I was hoping right after this, if we were managing a close victory, to then we have two more territories of Zerong that we were hoping to be able to quickly move against. Now we might not be moving as quickly against them, and hopefully they don't build up too many forces in there in the meantime. Gain some much needed coin. And some more heroism, which we'll take. Let's
占
occupy
领
the
此
city.
城乃是谨慎之举。
Well, not a city. Let's occupy the farmland. Let's see if there's any kind of damage we got to repair. Doesn't look like it. Let's see if he's got any retreated forces that have moved into any of the cities, possibly in the small city over there. But we can't move much this turn anyway. And we're both equally decimated. We have one force out totally for 2 turns here. He got hit hard. But we got a promotion out of it, it looks like. Maybe 2 promotions. So let's take a quick look at those. Sun Quan gained a rank, and how can we best use this? Morale when attacking when he's commanding, which isn't probably a bad perk. Let's see, we also have down here nobility, +1 available assignments if he's the faction leader. Prime Minister, and we have dignity, +8 instinct, enables discipline in his own retinue. Does not suffer a morale penalty. Not a great perk. I think we're just going to start out with mobility, +10 morale when attacking, and we're for his own retinue, +25 battle running speed. So I think we're going to go with mobility to start out here. Our other promotion, who was that? Sun Tzu. See how we can best use you. The administrator of Jian, and you are also in a force with archers. Do we have any kind of archery perks? Flaming shot allows flaming shot, so we may want to go there. It also allows +25% range damage down here. Yeah, both, but flaming shot just tends to be the one I use most first. Judgment sure will come in handy next promotion, but we'll start with the flaming shot because it definitely helps, especially in these enclosed farmlands or cities where the flaming shot helps take out a tower here and there. So we did gain the promotion for Sun Tzu. New capital for Zheirong. It's now the trade port, which is currently undefended. So we'll see if he's able to build that up before we get there. And we have captured Guangling, the farmland. Okay. So that's why we have that broken heart. Qiu Shangping has suffered a wound in battle, and they have a couple turns left while they're still wounded. So now I have the answer to what that broken heart symbol meant down at the bottom. Hooray, hooray. Usually we're able to eventually figure these things out. I'm just going to keep both these nearby each other. It's not great replenishment or speedy replenishment we're getting, but we're getting replenishment, and we'll need it as we move against these other provinces here shortly. We're moving into autumn. What I may end up doing next turn is maybe just we'll decide, depending on the movement range, if we move up to the border for one more turn of healing to get ourselves in position, or if we try to be aggressive and attack. So that is the battle for this turn. That is the promotions for this turn. We're up to 2,428 in cash, 732 per turn. I can deal with that. Let's see, the farmland, yeah, we didn't have any damage there. I keep thinking it's a city, and I got to see about repairing buildings, but we don't. So let's move on and see what the new turn brings us, see if we got any new moves against us. Kind of give you an idea of the overview. We kind of have Kongzhou in the middle. He's not super happy with us. He's just kind of middle of the road kind of guy. But I still am worried, trying to keep my eye on him. His attitude towards us, it's not super high good, super high bad. He's just kind of hovering in the unfriendly side. We still have good relations with the Duchy of Jian and Liu Bai for that matter. Okay, so let's see what the next turn brings us. A little frustrated that I couldn't have done better on the last battle, because I have overcome the odds in a couple other battles in the other playthrough. This one was just not meant to be for me. I just couldn't maneuver my troops enough to get the kind of outcome I was hoping for. Liu Bai commanded their vessel Tao Ying to join a war, and that is Shi Ji. That's way down in the south, so who knows? Tao Ying, is he somewhere down here? Where otherwise that's just like, okay, we're going to declare war on you. We can't reach you, but we're at war. Liu Bai commanded their vassal Liu Yao to join a war against Jian, who is, I noticed last time I checked her, on the weak side, so she's not faring well so far in this playthrough. Liu Bai commanded his vassal Han Sui to join a war also against Shi Ji. So he's just doing some war by proxy. Zherong left the alliance of Kong Rong, a peace treaty signed between Kong Rong and Yuan Shao. And a peace treaty signed between Zherong and Yuan Shao. Okay, so Zherong is on his own, I guess. He left the alliance. Doesn't feel he was getting enough support or something. Who knows? Zheng Jiang requested Gong Sung Zan to join their war against Han Sui. And Liu Bai liberated Han Sui. So it kind of gives us an update, and the faction destroyed was Kong Du. So that wasn't by our hands by any means. So we don't have any big things to notice here, and do we see, if we look up close, where were we? We are looking at, so that army moved into his own trade port, Yuan Shao. So right now he's not an immediate threat. Now if he moves after this, that's kind of going to port for the winter maybe. And for that matter, we're going to go to town here on the winter. We can't even quite reach it this turn, but we're going to head towards Chen, the city. And over here, I'm trying to still decide the best place to place Sun Jian against any threat that comes down at us. I'm thinking the lumberyard, but he'd have to go through my vassal to get there. So that would slow him up, wouldn't it? So am I able to be more centralized for better reaction and move towards the farmland, I'm thinking, with Sun Jian. So let's just park you in the farm. Whoops, not you, not you. Still want you going to the city. Let's get Sun Jian over here and head him down towards the farmland. And that's kind of where we'll base our northern defense at this time. Down here we will not declare war yet. That'll come in the spring. We got Cheng Pu right on the border still, and he's pretty much, or will be pretty dang close to full strength for the assault against Jialong. Let's just take a quick peek and make sure Jialong down here is still all on his lonesome. He is not an alliance, not at war with anybody, doesn't seem to be a vassal of anybody, so I'm cool with that. Next turn looks like we get to move forward on that. And let's take a look over how we're wintering over here and how we're looking over here and what kind of range we have. So he's building forces down in the trade port. Hey, so it just looks like I may have to jointly go down here depending on the kind of garrison he has down here. Can we get an idea of the garrison in the trade port? It's a pretty hefty garrison. So once again, we're going to probably have to tag team it again as we move south. I don't know what. So as we move our garrison out, we will lose some public order, but it's not massive. It's worth the move out. So let's get you as a team again, since we're so weakened, up to the border so we can move against the trade port next turn. It's going to give him another turn to hire, which is bad. But we got to get down there fast before he gets too strong. He already has a pretty dang good garrison. So yeah, we're losing only 1 per turn, currently at 23, so we're sitting okay right now. That looks like that is our turn. We have some funds built up, but until... I don't think that's enough for me to really do a lot of upgrades yet on my forces. Badong, let's get over to Badong. I had talked about maybe being able to do something over there with the grain silo. I do want to get that built sooner rather than later. And the land surveying, I don't need that one food. I'm thinking let's demolish the land surveying office, the land registry office. I have 27 food. Let's demolish that and go for the grain silo next turn. We'll make that step towards our building and towards being able to get forward on a reform that we need to unlock before we can do the reform. Okay, that was just kind of a quick one. Not a lot of things I noticed coming down our way. All's quiet on the northern front. Is that what we want to say? Let's get into the next turn and see if something else develops for us. At the very least, we'll be able to start our offensive against Jian. So let's just zoom over here on the north. In fact, let's keep an eye down on this trade port and see how it grows during the turn, and see what we're going to be up against, how much more hiring Zerong is going to be able to accomplish. Here we go. We're going to see your forces moving. Yes, we are. So it looks like we're going to have some action coming up here. Okay, so he is building his force, Zerong, down in Guangling. Let's see, Liu Bai commanded their vassal Tao Ying to join a war, and that's against Jian. So that's fine. Liu Bai has invited Han Sui. Gotta say it right, into their alliance, so he is now allied with Han Sui. And we do have an ancillary gained. Is anything looking good? Just a devious attendant, nothing super fun special, but we'll see if we can do anything there. We got some characters development and moving through our area. I'm not looking with our per turn income to really expand another army, so we'll check them out later. And finally, we did construct our iron mine in Badong, and we demolished the land surveying office in Badong. So let's just, before we forget, jump down to Badong and build that building we are going to need to build. And right here, grain storage, that's the one we need to unlock, a whooping 540, so we can get that started. We think we got to get it raised up to the one next level above that, and then we will have unlocked one of the reforms, or one of the reforms we need unlocked. In the meantime, since it's locked right now, we'll go down here on our way to one of the Azure Dragons that we want to unlock. We will take up sharecropping, and we'll get a chance to see if that may help some of our buildings or allow us to build some upgrades elsewhere in the future. Okay, Jialong, let's get into negotiations and let's declare war on you. Let's make sure nobody has vassalized you since we've been looking at you, because sometimes these weird things happen. Now we'll go in, negotiate. We will declare war on you. And I don't see you as a vassal of anybody, so let's just move on. Yeah, you are not listed as a vassal to anyone up here, so you look safe to declare war on. War declared. Now let's get moving up into this tight little area. With Chengpu, can we reach the city in this particular turn here in the spring? Not quite in one turn. No, we do. We are going to be able to start our siege. So let's see, what are we, a small city? It does have walls, but we're gonna go the sapper route and wait a couple turns, continue the siege, so we can have the ability to even start the battle by breaking down the walls. Our supplies should be fine while we wait for that to happen. And then we're going to have some choices way over here in the east as we scroll on over. We are replenishing in fast fashion. And let's see what we're up against if we move Sun Quan leading the way into battle here for the trade port.
砥砺内心。
Looks like a close defeat. He outnumbers me. Once again, he has that tremendous garrison in there. So we will starve him out. Let's bring in our other force right here
力争天下衰变。
with Sun Ren. Get her up to support us. And now let's see what the odds look like on this battle. Another close victory. I don't need another close victory that turns into a Pyrrhic victory. Let's demand surrender. And of course, with the leader himself in there, I believe. No, it's not the leader himself. What do you know? It is the leader's forces. Zhu Ji is holding down fort in there. So let's see. What kind of a map are we looking at here? Another tight little tough battle ahead of us. So, in the meantime, I'm going to do what I need to do to kind of help me out. The last tight battlefield that I went up against didn't work out so well, so we're going to wait a turn or two. It's the spring.
全力奋战。
It ties up two of my forces in case something else happens somewhere else to change my plan. But right now, we aren't seeing a lot of movement up north. Yuan Shao still has forces kind of moving on the river over here. We got Yuan Shao moving up towards our vassal, so that is where he's going with his army, and I think now is time to maybe force march Sun Jian up towards our lumberyard to kind of counteract that. So we do have some movement in the north. All is no longer quiet, and we got another Yuan Shao army up there also. So it looks like we got to do a little force marching to start reacting to that up in the north.
振作起来！讨平乱贼，诚兴四海。
Okay. So he's going to try and combine his forces at some point, it looks like, in the north. Gong Sung Gong. He is general for Yuan Shao. Yeah, it is just the two different armies, but they are strong. Well, okay, the forces aren't super overwhelming. They got warriors of Ye, medium halberd that I'm trying to build towards, so that's why I see the need to upgrade my forces. We got to start upgrading so we can stand toe-to-toe with these guys. And do I have any other building? Let's see, Badong, I got that started. But I think I'll hold. Do I want to hold my income in check at the moment? What are we building here? Merchant warehouses in Changsha. Yeah, I think we're going to be okay right now if I hold off on any building at the moment. And looking at the time, we're pushing on the 50-minute mark, so even though we have some battles pending, I think we're going to put off those battles to next episode. We're going to continue our siege just to weaken them down a little, since I had such a tough time up in the farmland, a similar small port battle, similar to the small farmland battle, where the map isn't that great. And when we get into those melees down those tiny little corridors, it really is hard to break through because we don't have a lot of maneuverability. So I think we'll spend the time, since my forces are weakened as it is, to try and weaken them in return. As long as I have the supplies to weaken them down. And then over here we'll just wait with Cheng Pu for the sapper to be done in 2 turns. And up here in the north, so we got some action forthcoming on the future for this playthrough. We got to counteract Yuan Shao in the north. So we got stuff going on all fronts ahead of us. So join me next time to see how that plays out. This is ZigZagZog signing off from Western Kentucky. I appreciate all of you that take the time to watch this playthrough. Thank you very much.